Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Jason from vrcolony.net. I know this is the first time that a lot of you are hearing my voice, so nice to meet you. Thanks for coming by. Really exciting stuff. We're going to rename a bunch of files, sync them in Adobe Premiere, bring them into After Effects to export a frame sequence, and at the end, we're going to do a really quick stitch using a template. I'm recording it as a video tutorial just so you can see how quick and easy this process is. So we're going to skip ahead. We're going to do this Paula Deen style. We're going to skip ahead to when the turkey's already been, put in the oven and come out. I've already taken all 18 of my SD cards, brought them on my computer, and copied them into this folder template. So camera 1 got copied into this folder named 01, camera 2 into this folder called 02. So now I'm going to go and rename them all, because if you look, the video files have this useless name to me right now. So I'm in this, it's called Bulk Rename Utilities. Free piece of software. I'll put a link to it up on the site, and I love this software. It's a lot of fun. So there's a lot of different settings, a whole lot of things you can do in this software. I'm just going to show you really quickly what I do, the basic thing, which is first I remove the old name. You can see here it's showing what the name is going to become after we do this. I'm going to put this folder, this is the 01 folder. I'm going to put that as a prefix. I'm going to insert an underscore at position 1, and then I'm going to put some lettering, some capital lettering, like this, as a suffix. So that means that this first video file in this folder is going to get renamed to 01A, and if I select this next one, this would get renamed to 01B, and so all I have to do is push rename, and I just go to the next folder, select everything, push rename. Next folder. When you're working with 18 sets of cameras, you end up doing a lot of things 18 times. Charging 18 cameras, updating 18 cameras, starting all 18 cameras, 18 sets of footage, 18 sets of stitches. And, it's cool. We're making virtual reality video, so, you can't complain if you're in the VFX or motion graphics industry anyway. You're used to things taking longer than you'd expect. But, that's why I put together this new camera I'm about to kickstart. You guys should really check it out. It's only 8 cameras, and it does the same thing, 3D 360 footage. 3D 360 footage with only 8 cameras. How's that possible? Well, just wait for the Kickstarter. I will show you. It's cool stuff, and it's what I've switched to these days. But this 18 camera rig is still an affordable option that you can get started with today. And, it's what I've been using for the last couple months to make this footage. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Fantastic. So I go into Premiere now, and I'm going to import all those files. So I go File, Import. I'm going to click on this raw folder where everything is stored and say import folder. Now the very first time you import video files into Adobe Premiere, it has to conform them. And it's not showing this up right now because I've imported these files before, but I really do want to quickly show you what conforming looks like, because the first time I did this, I wasn't expecting it and I was confused why my files weren't syncing. And you have to wait for this to finish before you do the multi-camera syncing. So now I have all these folders, all these files, everything's neatly organized. So I want to start syncing them together in Premiere. So I'm going to right-click here in this window and say New Search Bin. And I'm going to make a search bin looking for anything with the name _A. And that gives me this 01A, 2A, 3A, all 18 files worth of _A. So I'm going to select them all. I'm going to right-click and say Create Multi-Camera Source Sequence. And I'm going to name this, Apartment A, because this is the, the first shot of the day, the A shot from all 18 from all 18 cameras. And I'm going to, under Synchronize Point, I'm going to make sure it's set to audio. That means it's going to try to sync all of these 18 clips based on their audio track. So I say OK, and go ahead, Premiere, and let Premiere think about this. And, this doesn't take so long. Those are all synced together, so I can right-click, say Open in Timeline. Here's a timeline over here, and you can see here is all 18 of these clips all synced together. Fantastic. So what I want to do now is I want to export a single frame from all of these video files, and I'm going to use that frame just for a quick test stitch. And I'm also going to use that frame later for our full, our actual seamless in-depth stitch. But just now, I want to preview the shot, see everything looked good. I've spent all day in this apartment shooting, and I want to be rewarded for my hard work. So I'm gonna get a quick look at this. Also, later down the road, I want to export a section of all these clips as a frame sequence. And there's not an easy way in Premiere to export every single layer here as either a frame or a frame sequence. You can only just export the whole, this whole timeline. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take advantage of After Effects inbuilt scripting tools. What that means is I'm going to select everything. I'm going to say File. Actually, I'm just going to right-click on this and say Replace with After Effects Composition. So over here in After Effects, bam, look at this. So what that did is it took our Premiere timeline and just brought it right into After Effects. And, it brought the layers in backwards. So I'm just going to select them from bottom to top. This is a quick After Effects trick. Select them from bottom to top, push Control X, push Control V, and that just resorts them from top to bottom. So now it goes 1 through 18 instead of 18 through 1. So great, now that I have all of these 18 video clips in After Effects, I'm just going to pick a frame kind of right in the middle where nothing's happening. You can see here's me walking around setting up cameras, my beardy face, short pants on. Wait till I get out of here. Great, I've stepped out of the room. We want a frame, we're looking for a frame where there's nothing crossing the seams, no unusual cases, just a really basic generic frame of the video. We're going to use that for our test stitch. Set my work area by pushing B and then N, and that sets my work area to just this single frame. And I'm going to use a custom script, which is a free script. I'll put a link to it up on the site. You just select them all with Control A and say File, Scripts, and it's this RD Render Layers script. Now this is going to render all 18 of those layers to the output module, to the format that you choose, and it's going to do it just for the work area, which we've set to be a single frame. So it's going to render one frame from all 18 of those layers. And I want it to be a JPEG. I want to render a JPEG from all 18 of those layers. And under the format, I'm going to do, it's going to be named based on the layer name, and then underscore, pound, 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 pound. And this just means it's going to name it based on the layer and the frame number. So the first file, you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll just wait and see. Just hold your horses. Cool. And I'm going to push Q only just for now. And it's going to queue up all 18 of these layers. This first one's going to get renamed 01 underscore A underscore and then the frame number here. So I'll push render. And it just goes through, really quickly renders all 18 frames. And here you go. Here is all 18 of these frames. They're from a synced point in time. So if there's any kind of action, any kind of thing moving, all frames would be from the same point in time. So what I'm going to do now is I want to see this on my headset. I want to preview it, how the panorama is looking. And, a stitch, to do a really nice stitch takes time. And I don't want to spend a bunch of time. So I just want to get a really quick initial stitch. Say I've taken 15 shots today, and I want to see which is the best one, which location is the nicest. I just want to get a really quick and dirty initial stitch. So for that purpose, I'm going to use PTGUI or whatever software that you have. Anything that can use a template is great for this. I'm going to load these images. Here we go, under test frames. I'm going to bring them all in here. It asks me this question. I don't care. I really don't care. I'm just going to apply a template. I'm going to say File, Apply Template. And here's an 18 camera template I will also put up on the site for you guys. This is just a template that uses the 18 camera setup that I have. And you can see it brought all 18 of these files in. To make this template, I did a nice stitch in a different environment at a different time. And just saved all the settings from that. And it basically swaps out the images that were used to do that. Now if you notice, the ground here is a different color. Everything is kind of differently exposed. I want to fix this problem. So I want to go to the Exposure HDR tab. And I want to optimize for these images here. Now this is still a little bit dark for my tastes, so I just want to brighten it up some. And yeah, that should be good right there. Now if you'll notice, and this is kind of a special case for this, the window is so much brighter than everything else. And P2GUI has this great tool called tone mapping. So I'm going to tone map this panorama. And under settings, I just quickly want to point out that the actual photos that were shot out this window are really underexposed for everything in the apartment, for the roof and for the floor. And that's done on purpose so that I get this outside exposed properly. So that when I go to the tone mapping, I can reduce the highlights that are coming in from the outside. So just pay attention to this really brightly lit window right now. Currently, PTGUI is trying to make sure everything is equally exposed, but by doing tone mapping, I can kind of tone down the overexposed highlights. So if I don't do anything at all, here's what it looks like. If I reduce them by a value of 1, it's looking all right. Maybe by 2. Let's see what it looks like at 3. It looks kind of funky, so we'll say 2.5. So here we go. This allows me to get almost an HDR style look where I get definition in my bright highlights, and also I have definition in the rest of my room, which is truly much darker than this. So I'm going to say OK. Alright, so everything looks good. You know, this is still going to look overexposed, but when the still gets rendered, it's going to be fixed. So from this point, I'm going to show you how to use this 18 camera template file that I have to produce both a 2D panorama and a 3D panorama, so that you can preview your file in 3D on your headset. That's because that's the goal with this. Again, we're just doing a quick and dirty stitch right now to preview the 3D, see what's going to need to get fixed. We're going to go much deeper into PTGUI in the next tutorial, but for now, I just want to show you quickly the process that you can follow using this template just to quickly make a 2D panorama and a 3D panorama. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off all my right cameras first. So I'm going to go turn off 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. And that just leaves me with only all the left eye cameras. And then for the zenith and the nadir, I'm going to go to my source images tab. I'm going to select my nadir and my zenith. I'm going to right click and say load mask. And I'm going to load this L mask. And this is the mask that I use for the left eye. Now, this is going to be, I think, a little confusing today, why I'm doing this. I'm going to go much deeper into the stitching process tomorrow, how these are all stitched together. But for now, I just want to show you the steps to take. And tomorrow we'll go into why this is working. So I've isolated my left eye cameras. I've applied my left eye mask. So that means only the left eye view is showing right now. And that means I can just go and create the panorama. So I'm going to put this in a folder called Test Panos. I'm going to call it 01. Actually, I'm just going to call it Apartment A Left. And save it. And it only needs to be 4096 by 2048. I'm going to push Create Panorama. There we go. Chugging away. So I'll just take a look at that right now. You can see this is our really quick and dirty. You can see there's a bunch of stitching errors here. But that's fine for right now. We just want to get a general view. See, stitching errors, stitching errors. We're going to fix all this tomorrow. But for now, we just have a general quick look at this panorama. This is our left eye view. For the right eye view, I'm going to isolate all my right eye cameras. There we go. And go to my Source Images tab. I have my zenith and my nadir still selected. And I'm going to load my right eye mask. And I'll provide this left eye and right eye masks also on the site. So now I've isolated only my right eye cameras and my right eye view from my zenith and nadir. And I'll just rename this one the same name, but with R instead of L. I'll push Create Panorama. Fantastic! Okay, so back in After Effects, I'm going to make a folder just called Raw. Here's all my footage from before. I'll put this in here. I'll name this Apartment A Comp. I'll put this in a folder called Footage Comps. Footage Cops. I like Footage Cops better. We'll call it Footage Cops. And I'm going to bring in these two test panoramas that I quickly made, Apartment AL and Apartment AR. I'm going to select them both, drag them down to this new composition window. I'm going to make two compositions first, so that I have a comp for the left panorama and a comp for the right panorama. And I could individually render either one of these and get just a 2D, this is an equirectangular image. But what I want to do is get a 3D image also. So I want to select my Apartment A left eye and Apartment A right eye comps and drag them down. And this time I'm going to make a single composition with both of them. You can see here I have them laid up on top of each other. You can kind of toggle it back and forth to see the 3D. It looks really janky right now because, again, this is just a quick and dirty stitch to get a preview. And to produce a 3D file that can be viewed on your Gear VR, your Cardboard, your Oculus Rift, whatever, I'm going to go down, I'm going to scale them horizontally 50%, put my left eye on the left, put my right eye on the right. There we go. So now I have a 3D side-by-side panorama quick preview that I can look at on my Gear VR and preview how this shoot went. And I could do even a little bit of color correction. You know, I'll make an adjustment layer, go to my curves. You know, maybe let's brighten this up, bring a little bit of red in. Yeah, that's just a touch of red. And maybe brighten everything up a little bit, give it some contrast. Gorgeous. That looks real nice. And maybe a little unsharp mask. Because here's without. So, you know, a little bit blurry. Not too bad. But with it, makes these details really pop. So from here I can say composition, save frame as a file, and I'll save it as a JPEG. I'll call this apartment A. You know, left right, because this is a 3D left right image. And I'll render it. And you know what, just for good measure, I'll also render this, you know, just the 2D view. Just doing some organization here. So I'll drag this down here to a new composition. Call this apartment A 2D. Take my same color corrections from this comp, bring them over here, there. And I'll say composition, save frame as a file. With the best settings, because that's what we're all about here. Best settings. Apartment A 2D. And render. So there we have it. We have a 2D color corrected panorama and a 3D color corrected panorama that you can view on your Gear VR or other headset. And I hope this tutorial didn't go too fast for you guys. Again, this is just showing you how quick and easy this process is when I have all footage from my 18 cameras. You know, this is about how long it takes for me just to get an initial preview out. And tomorrow we're going to go into, you know, better stitching techniques and clean up all of this mess all over the place. And just get a really nice looking, you know, comfortably viewable 3D panorama. And the day after that, we're going to completely get rid of these seams and bring Mark, our actor, in here and make a video. And then we're going to get crazy. We're going to do some motion graphics, some spatialized audio, and so it'll just be a great time. It'll be a great time for everybody. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this quick tip. I know I talk real fast, so sorry about that. I hope you were able to follow along. Let me know if I'm just totally losing y'all in the comments. And, you know, have a great day. Thanks for coming by.